was a gun buyback program, PSN, Philadelphia Safety Net program. And in that program, the policy was to give away $100 gift cards in exchange for guns. However, hundreds of the gift cards went missing, and the sole employee and executive director of PSN reportedly used grant money to pay for personal things like parking tickets, hotel stay, gasoline purchases, clothing, restaurants, meals, and cash withdrawals. And so, Ms. McGarry, did OJP know before PSN gun buyback program was concluded in March of 2012 that funds were being misspent?
Well, we've put several agency-wide standards and procedures in place to catch these type of problems, and we became aware of the issues, and our prevention mechanisms now are this grantee was an earmark and now would be put through the pre-award risk, and as a new grantee as a small nonprofit would be required to do financial training to prevent these type of problems.
But did you know before it was concluded that the misspending had taken place?
I'm not personally aware. I believe that our managers did not know the extent of the problem.
Has there been any check to find out why the managers didn't know that there was a problem?
Yes, and that's part of our continuous improvement. We've enhanced our grant manager training. We've added questions for programmatic managers about financial when they're going out to give them checks to look more deeply into financial conditions of grantees. So that is part of our continuous improvement, always learning from these irregularities and issues and making changes to help prevent them in the future.
Feel pretty confident now that an entity like that with basically one sole manager of the program, executive director, with this much money is detected? Hopefully before.
Yes, I think the measures of our pre-award risk assessment and intensive oversight of this type of a grantee would be solid to detect and prevent these problems.
Mr. Horowitz, what was OJP's oversight like throughout that program as you looked into it?
Well, we obviously saw a series of concerns there in the way the funds were being used, the lack of controls matching up the gift cards that were given out with the firearms that were being purchased. In fact, there are still unaccounted for numbers of gift cards because there were more gift cards given out than there were guns
brought in.
Collected. One of the things particularly concerning to us was that the executive director of the agency received almost $350,000 in compensation, awarded by his sister, who was the chairman of the board. So those kinds of self-dealing, conflicts, lack of controls over a program obviously represent
Would that have
serious
been
concerns.
expected as normal to see that if you saw that type of relationship, brother and sister, running a program with that much money attached to it? Handing out gift cards, over $300,000 salary. Should that have been something that would have been sniffed out very quickly?
It's certainly something that, if not done quickly, given the lapse of time, certainly we would have hoped that at some point along the way, that those kinds of controls that were lacking at a place like PSN would have been identified sooner. And again, part of this goes to reporting back on results. What were the results of this audit? Well, if the executive director is taking a third of the money or so for himself, then there's a problem with the program.
Mm-hmm. At what point during the process would PSN have reported to OJP what it was spending the money on? I asked that of Ms. McGarry.
Each grantee has to submit a quarterly financial report, and in that report, they would designate what the money was being spent for. And this is one of the improvements we've put in place, is to not just rely on these reports, but to have our managers look for source documents through the process.
And stay on top of it. Okay.
We're trying.
Mr. Chairman, I yield back.